Hi everyone, this is Eileen Burns from the Spiritual Marketing Club and welcome to Facebook Marketing Made Easy for Healers and Coaches. Okay, so one of the things that we have to consider when we are creating any sort of marketing on Facebook is actually understanding what Facebook is. And if we understand what Facebook is, then we can approach our Facebook marketing in the more correct way, okay? So Facebook is a social media platform, and in many ways it's not a business platform. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is the main motives of social media is to get people to come on and to connect and engage. Facebook, of course, has monetized that platform, but it has monetized it by firstly serving the community, providing what people want on that platform, giving people reasons to come back, and actually obviously in many ways addicted to it, that they keep coming back. Okay, so even though Facebook gives us a free space to market our services, where basically we're getting all these tools to market our business absolutely free, okay, the reality is it is firstly a social media platform. We may look at it as a business platform because that is what we use it for, but our consumers do not see it as that. They are too busy using it for whatever reasons they use social media for, okay? So when you can understand that you get a little bit, you change your perspective slightly about your audience and why they're on Facebook. And then you start to create a campaign that is going to work for your audience. So if we look at Facebook, Facebook is very much about helping people connect with other people and engage. Okay, getting people to talk online, getting people to comment and posts. Okay, it's all about connection and engagement. Okay, if we look at it at its basic level. Now you also might think, okay, but Facebook actually gathers, it does lots of things like gathers a lot of information. Yes, but we're going to look at it just on the surface level at the moment so that you can see it from a business perspective in the relation that when we understand why someone is on doing something and what makes them connect, what makes them engage, then you get to understand what will make your clients connect and engage with you, because marketing is actually all about connection and engagement. So Facebook encourages like quite a few things, right? But I've broke it into 4 things just to keep it simple at the moment. So social media is something, it helps people be sociable, and it's a form of media, right? And if you think about even things like the television, what does the television do to keep us entertained? It educates us, it informs us, it inspires. So it uses storytelling, it uses visuals, it uses sound, it uses different things that we're interested in or will be entertained by to keep us engaged, to keep us switching it on. Facebook is exactly the same. So when you can understand that in your marketing, that if you use these 4 principles at least, you are more likely to keep your clients engaged. Because one of the things, again, that sometimes small businesses forget is that, again, you see your Facebook page is the way you see it when you're building it, but people, that's not what people are seeing. People, yet when they come to visit your page, will see that, but they're often just coming across you in feeds of little posts that appear. And Facebook only tends to show a certain amount of posts, so that's why all your audience doesn't see all of your posts, okay? There's lots of reasons why. So to get your posts in front of as many of your ideal audience as possible to get your posts engaged, because when people engage, Facebook serves it to more audience. More people see that someone's commented on it, and it's a whole thing that encourages people to keep coming back to your page to see what you're offering, or to keep keeping the notifications basically on. If an audience gets too many things that it doesn't like that's on your posts, or too many posts that just are not relevant, they'll either switch off the notifications of your posts, or they will unlike your page. Okay, so the key here is, when you are building a business, it's all about connection and trust, and that can take time, particularly in holistic well-being, spiritual well-being, because people have to put their trust in you. And most consumers today have been bitten more than once. So when they are going to buy from someone like you, they have to know that it's not, it's not just about what you say, because people can say, businesses can say what they like. I mean, I see every day businesses making bold claims, or therapists making very bold claims. And I'll give you one example. Quite a few years ago, I had a business. They tried to copy some of my content for a training program that I have that is quite exclusive. It's a wee bit different than what most people offer. But anyway, this clinic tried to basically copy what I was doing. But the funny thing was, they were actually advertising as the top hypnotherapy school and whatever it was. I think it was England or whatever area, right? And they were making out that they were the top school, right? Now, the reality was, they were a tiny, tiny school. They hadn't even, the trainers were a husband and wife who had very little training, and there was nothing else that would ever say that they were the top hypnotherapists, and they had actually done just fast track training. So they were selling themselves as the top. And this is the kind of thing we see, and most of yous who are healers and spiritual coaches squirm at that, because these are very about honesty, transparency, and being authentic. But that's the reality. So often what can be in someone's marketing doesn't match up to actually what they really are. And we see this a lot. And we also see this with marketing gurus, even people that do people's social media, where they imply lots of things about a business that's not really accurate, right? And people are waking up to that. People are not as fooled by that. So they want more authenticity, but if you can get results for certain things, they want to see the evidence. They want to see proof that you've done that time and time again, right? And they want to know that you're the right person. Particularly, for example, if you're a coach who is selling large programs and expecting people to invest a lot of money, okay? You want to ensure that you are attracting the right clients, the clients that will be happy with what you deliver. And the last thing you want to do is attract clients who are going to be unhappy and feel that you've under-delivered and you've not promised. And that's why you've got to match up. So when people are investing in these type of things, it can take quite a wee bit more time to nurture, because they want to ensure that if they're investing a lot of money with you, you can actually deliver on your promises, and that you've got evidence for that. And one way that you can do that is by using some of these things to keep engagement on your Facebook page, and to keep them coming back and be more curious about that product or service. Because the key with Facebook, which is different than getting someone's email, on your email list, or getting someone to sign up for a lead magnet or whatever it is. Once they're on your email list, you've got them, and you can, if they agree to the GDPR, you can keep, sending a message to them. But if someone just likes your Facebook page but doesn't actually sign up for anything, there has to be reasons for them to keep coming back, and you have to structure your marketing in a way that Facebook is more likely to serve your post to that audience. And one of the best ways I would say for a lot of yous who are, a lot of yous will be healers, but also have different therapy modalities, and use different tools. You can do things like blogs educating people about even the theory or the psychology or study behind what you offer. Even your modality, the type of energy healing that you're using, or spiritual healing. Why do you use this, or your own journey, and how you came to start using a certain modality. These things help people, they emotionally get a connection so that you relate to them, first of all. And they relate to you, but it's this sort of, so they feel they know you, right? But the key here is also keeping it fresh and keeping it so that people were going to find things that are interesting to them. Sometimes what happens is people just put posts all the time about them, but it's not about the audience or the client. It has to be about the audience. It must be relevant to them. It must be relevant to their problems, and it must be inspiring. So a mixture of things that are entertaining, things that are very educational, informing, and inspiring is a great way to get a balanced content. So, for example, entertainment. Those of you who are psychics or who use, for example, you're an angel card reader, who have gifts, and what I mean is not people that just take out a card and just say this is what it means. I mean people that actually have a gift of not, being able to see more within the card, who are really often doing like weekly lives on Facebook are a great way to get your audience, because if you naturally are very gifted in this area or whatever, or psychic, doing these sort of gifts, demonstrating these gifts are a great way to get people to share your posts and for other people to engage, particularly if this is a gift, okay? So that's a great way. You're using it as a form of entertainment. If you think about the weekend, where a lot of people are chilling out and some people just sit and scroll through Facebook, particularly where actually at the moment while I'm doing this video, we're in the middle of COVID-19. And again, this is an example where people are looking for more and they're looking for something to be entertained. So this is a great way for you to pop on and do something that's entertaining, that gets engagement. Occasionally sharing something funny on your page, or something that is entertaining is not a bad thing either, because it can just help tweak your ratings up a little bit, get that engagement. If it's been a little bit slow, it just gets things that are inspiring, or as I said, entertaining, and a video can be a great way to get that engagement and kind of kickstart Facebook and actually serving your post to more people, because the more people engage in that post, it kind of says to Facebook, oh, people like this, and it's more likely to serve your next post into a certain amount of people. Education, as I said, writing educational posts, if you're someone, I know there's some healers and things also, they're qualified nutritionists and things like that, educating people about certain things that will help them, that really support and help, and shows that you are an actual expert in your field. Anyone can see anything now, sadly, in our industry. We have a huge difference in standardization. We have people who do 1 and 2 day courses and things that years ago would take maybe people a year or 2 years to do. So when you look at even things like a certificate and something and a diploma, in many ways it means nothing. So the reality is, someone can buy something from someone thinking they're very highly experienced and they're very gifted in a certain area, and actually not get what they expect, when someone else who's not really advertising very well but actually is the real deal is not getting the clients just because of their marketing. Okay, so it's important that you demonstrate your knowledge and pass that knowledge on, and you can do that again through videos and things. Now, information, making sure people are informed, might be the latest updates of things that you've got on, or updates and some of the guidelines that you do things, informing people about things maybe they don't know. These again, that's linked to, it really is linked to education, but it depends on how you see informing people. It may be informing people of your latest freebies, okay? Inspiring. Sharing stories that are inspirational, your own story or client stories, and stories that give people hope, really good. Also, inspirational quotes can be used, but the key with inspirational quotes are used by everyone now. So the key here is to brand your quotes and your business brand, but make sure you always quote who the person that wrote the quote, or it's copyright. You're actually breaching on copyright. And do it in a way that you're actually sharing quotes that are aligned with your business message. If you don't, sometimes it's just the quotes are actually pointless. So make sure when you're picking quotes that are actually related to your business and what you offer, so that what happens, again, it's all aligned with your message. So it's something that's congruent with your message. Now, when you know your ideal client, okay, and you know their demographics, and let's look at them, first of all, as an avatar. So an avatar is basically knowing like an age, the gender, maybe the locality somewhere lives, maybe their income, certain aspects of their lifestyle, their habits. That is like what we call an avatar. They're the typical ideal client or customer that you're aiming your products or services at. But I like to take it a little bit further, and I think it's really important in the holistic and spiritual industry to take it a lot further. I like to look at clients that you really know, right? And what I tend to call clients that are your perfect clients, soul clients, okay? But if we look at a client that you know, a client that actually loves your products and services and was so grateful for what you did, the type of client that gets you is similar values to you, maybe some similar beliefs there, similar interests, they are often what I'll call your soul client. Okay, and there's different levels to that, and obviously the more that you have worked with clients, the more experience you've got, the more that soul client gets more refined. Okay, but a client that you know that you without a doubt can help. But this is one again that a lot of healers and coaches can still make a mistake here. They don't refine down enough. Because I'll give you an example. Because of my type of work, obviously I'm a trained healer, a coach, a therapist, a trained counsellor, and I also run a training school, and I also help healers and coaches with their business. And I meet a lot of people that say to me, "You're my ideal client, I can help you." But often I'm not. They think I am, with their level of experience and knowledge, or what they see on the surface about me, but I'm often not, right? And again, they've missed the point, okay? So for example, I am not someone's ideal client on someone that's never had experience or skills to deal with some of the rare, complex medical conditions that I have, right? I am not someone that has not great success results in certain types of conditions. Now, for example, when I first came into this work, I started with healing, and it was Reiki. And Reiki only helped me so far, no matter who I went to. It only helped me so far. It didn't shift other things for me. And even the Reiki practitioner that introduced me to Reiki, who encouraged me to train in Reiki, he was so gifted. A lot of people called him the miracle man, and they called him all sorts of things because he had so many miracles in his practice. But I was never the miracle. He stopped. When one stage I was going to him, I've got a hole in my eye, and they were worried I was going to lose my eye. Now, I didn't lose my eye. It kind of stabilised, but it's still been abnormal. Now, I've done lots of deep work, inner work, child work, and I went along a lot of paths. A lot of healers said but they didn't know what they were dealing with, until I came across different types of healers that worked on different vibrational levels. And one, for example, he worked with only a certain type of energy frequency that tended to work with Lyme's disease and people with certain types of Agent Orange and HIV or AIDS, right? And this healer, for example, had the ability to see within my body that I had certain Lyme's bacteria and I had mercury poisoning. I've had another 2 healers who could see, I didn't tell them, but could see the mercury because I had been mercury poisoned. And he explained that why other modalities were actually dangerous for me because they were not as refined and it could move the certain metals, the mercury, and it could do certain things, and as it moved, it could be more dangerous. And that was an example where he was more, I was his ideal clients because that's what he specialised in, right? But these other healers that had not that knowledge or awareness, I was definitely not their ideal client. They may have thought I was, but they weren't, because at the end of the day, they wouldn't have been able to solve my problem, okay? So you have to understand, and it's about letting the ego go out, getting out of the way, your ego, and the ego can show up in 2 ways, that because you're taught by your healing modality that it can help everything, can help, and help the most is a completely different thing. When you're selling yourself, you want to be selling what you're best at and what solution you solve, okay? So your client has to be the client of a problem that you can solve the most for them. Now that doesn't mean that you won't attract other people, but when you can put yourself out there as actually solving this fantastic, issue that they have, or maybe not fantastic issue, but you can solve it in a great way for them, a big pain point, that's when you see your perfect client. But a client that may have to keep coming to you and then stops coming because they can't afford it, and they've been coming to you for a year and you're still not really able to make huge leaps for them, is not your ideal client. And it's really important to understand that. So when you know who your perfect clients are, then you start marketing and speaking to them in your marketing on Facebook, just like you would in any other form of marketing. So when you can understand your ideal client's biggest pain points, your product that can solve their biggest pain points, then you're able to create a marketing plan. But one of the biggest problems I see is that healers and coaches go back to front in this area. They don't actually have a business to start with. They're just putting themselves out as a modality rather than the problems that they actually solve. So you've always got to think, like any form of marketing, it's always about solution. So other than the big points the big problems that you can solve, everyone has daily pain points or small things that are a bit of a pain that are very much easier to address that you can help them with. So these are the things that you can actually help someone on Facebook with that will build up trust. So for example, I was a trained aromatherapist, okay, and when I first, went into aromatherapy, I loved it, but I had a huge problem. It actually took me, I had to go and do my training 3 times before I actually was able to complete being an aromatherapist because of my health. I didn't have the physical stamina to be an aromatherapist, but what I could do was be an aromatherapy teacher, and as in talk about essential oils, sell essential oils, educate people about the safe use of essential oils in the home. And that's something that I'd done throughout my business. I was asked to go and teach that in local education, and I also used to do it as party plan, right? So those skills were very transferable. So they're things that you could share on Facebook if you were selling aromatherapy products. If you're someone that is very knowledgeable about nutrition, organic food, any of these kind of things, and people have got certain problems or whatever, it's using your other skills to help people make better decisions every day. And these are the things that can keep engagement on your page, but they have to be related to your audience. If not, you're not going to get the engagement. So the key here is always remember that Facebook is it's not a business platform as such. Having your business on Facebook is just an extra. So you've got to remember about all the reasons why people come onto Facebook and think of ways that you can keep the engagement going. You always have to think that it's about your audience, it's not about you. It's about their needs, their wants, their desires, not about you. And any marketing campaign and any niche has to be around a product or service that you know that you can deliver and you're great at, that you're fantastic at, and that you can help. And again, as I said before, that doesn't mean that you won't get other clients, but the more that you niche down and you can really share evidence and show what your product, your healing modality or your coaching modality is absolutely fantastic at, then you're more likely to keep that engagement. Now, before I end, I'm going to just give you an example of something that happened last week to me. I got an email from a marketing, now I can't even remember, I think she's an email marketer, right? So my strengths are always visuals and getting people to do storytelling and getting a powerful brand and things like that. But I'm not an expert as such in the wording of things. So that's where I sometimes, get a bit of extra help in that area. But basically, this marketer had asked, it was one of her clients, if anyone could go on and look at her Facebook business face. Well, it wasn't actually, it was a Facebook page, a personal page. Why it was a personal page, I'll not know, but it was basically someone putting their business stuff on their personal page, and could we give some honest feedback in a questionnaire? Would you go to this person or not? Would you trust them, right? And it was very interesting when I went onto the page. So this healer was basically selling a healing kind of coaching package that was clearing money problems, right? But her page looked poor. That's all I can say. Her page looked poor. Looked like a poor man's page. That's what I was going to say. It looked poor marketing. Nothing about that page to me spoke that this person could honestly help people with their money issues, because the page looked poor. So there was nothing congruent about it. In many ways, she looked poor, right? And I know that sounds quite extreme, but it was just the way and it was the energy that was coming across in the page. There was different things about the page. Now, that didn't mean that that was the truth. But what was shown on the page, what she was choosing to show on the page, that's what it showed up. There was nothing at all that gave confidence that she actually had the skills to do that, and evidence that her programs actually did that. And we see this a lot of people. That didn't mean that she couldn't do it, but there is a lot of people that also sell products. They don't even know it works. They're just fancy doing something. And I'll give you an example of that as well, is that I remember I came across a healer from a community that I was in, and she was always selling that Reiki could heal people's money issues. But guess what? She had for the person that was trying to sell it, she had constant money issues and constant problems attracting clients. So she was trying to sell something that was clearly not working for her, and that's misalignment. Now, if I go back to the person that I went about what I saw last week on this page, I looked at the page and I quickly went through on first impression. Now, when I started reading it, there still was nothing, so I thought, right, okay, my first impression of her, but first impressions is what is going to make someone click and keep listening. But I decided to give her more time and go through the videos and go through things as much time as I could. And I still wasn't feeling it. But interesting, I decided to have a look to see if I could find her website, because it was a bit odd, because she was actually sharing all her business posts on her personal page, and I couldn't actually find a business Facebook page, which to me confused what was going on, and then I thought, did the marketer send me the wrong page? I wasn't sure. Anyway, I come across her website. Well, I was so gobsmacked because her website was completely the opposite. Her website was very professional looking. I had a strong energy of someone that had the energy of the colours and the brand represented someone quite strong, and in many ways the energy felt as if it was strong and powerful with a powerful message. And she also had these pictures that were clearly professional, or looked like professional pictures, very much taking on a kind of, it's almost like an archetypal role in the way that the brand was done, and it was done very well. But then that confused me because I thought, well, what's the real person? There is all right telling an element of a story, but what part of that person, what matches the two things didn't seem to align. Okay, then I thought to myself, does she want to be that person on the website, but the reality is she's the person on the page, or is she a bit of both? And that's where the problem is. She's not owning that. So there's an example where, marketing can be very, it's not congruent and it can be mixed messages. But the key here is that her marketing should be just similar to what's on a website. But if her website was done by someone else and it wasn't her, then she's got a problem, because what she's doing is representing this solid strength in her website that she actually in reality is not giving over. Now, I'm not saying that that's actually the truth and the fact. I don't know this person, but the reality was that's what would be getting spelled out to her audience, and that's the most important thing. It's what your audience is going to pick up. Now, I am very empathic and sensitive to the degree that I feel so much, and it can impact me physically. I feel people's physical pain. I take on a lot, and it's something that I work through. I'm getting better at, but I do really feel things. So energetically, I tend to feel people's energy and pick up things about their personality and energy, and to me it's easy for me to transfer it into colours. That's not always easy. So to me there was something not aligned there, right? So it's so important that when we're showing up in any sort of marketing, in our Facebook marketing, not just, and I don't mean just showing up as your videos, that's not what I'm talking about, because you're showing up as your videos, but you're showing up that your brand represent aspects of you, not who you wish to be. This can get you into a lot of trouble. Has to be you. It has to be you. Everything has to be about you. Now, what the message and what you're serving is for your audience, and the way that you do your brand has to appeal to your audience. It's not just about you in that perspective. It has to appeal to your audience. But the reality is your vibration has to come through in the marketing, not your marketer, not your social media manager. It has to be your energy, and it's not about who you want to be, it's who you are, because it's about you owning who you are.